Hello, everyone. Ahlan, ahlan, ahlan. How are you guys? It has been a while. I feel like I start every single episode saying how long it's been. This one has actually been probably the longest. I have a lot to tell you guys about, and this episode's going to be a doozy, so I hope you guys are ready to give it a listen and to let me know what you guys think. But for now, sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, some tea, and just listen. All right, so I would just like to start by saying that this episode is going to be called My Journey to Self-Love. And it's going to be in season 3, Adelene. So it's one of my personal ones. Shocker. So I feel like the best part that I could start with is picking up where I left off. So my last episode was about Allah, about my faith. And I talked with these two amazing and wonderful girls about our differences in faith and where we stand. And that day was definitely a special one for me. After recording that episode in Jamaica Plain, I had to experience something that was rather traumatic to me that night. And that sort of kick-started this whole last month or two of just chaos and havoc. So that night I got in the train and I was on my way back to BU. And the only reason I got on the train later than 10 o'clock was because I thought it was a straight shot to BU. And I'm just going to come out and say it and tell you guys the truth. So I got off the train at Copley and I went to cross over, and this guy started to follow me. And he started to chase me and catcall me and, say things like, "Where are you going, beautiful? I'm coming. Stop running away from me. Why are you running so fast? Where are you going?" And I just thank God that nothing worse happened, but I started sprinting. And I had one hand with pepper spray and the other hand with my phone, and I was just running, just trying to cross the street to get to the other Copley station, and so I could get home. And my heart was beating out of my chest, and I raced down the stairs, and this guy's voice just kept following me, and I was hoping he was on the phone. I was hoping he wasn't talking to me, but he was right behind me, and he started to chase me. And I'll just never forget how fast I got on that train and how scared and how weak I felt in that moment. And I didn't even stop to look back. I didn't even scream. I didn't fight. I just kept running. And as messed up as this sounds, I feel like I experienced it in the easiest way I could. But let me finish my story. So I get on this train and I'm on my way to Kenmore Square, and I'm shaking. I'm very frazzled. I don't know what just happened. If I had fallen, would I have been injured? Would I have been assaulted? A lot was running through my mind, and I missed my stop. I missed my stop at BU, and the next thing I knew, I was in a straight shot to Boston College. And I started to freak out. I went up to the conductor and I said, "You need to stop the train. I need to get off here. Is there any way?" And they stopped the train and I got off in Brookline. And it was raining. It was maybe 11:15, 11:30. It was dark. I was by myself and I was just crying. And I just felt so weak. So I didn't realize until later that night that I had gotten off on St. Mary Street, and the faith in me wants to believe that that was a sign that I was being protected, because that very night I was talking about my powerful connection with St. Mary and how I always ask her to guide me and to watch over me and to protect me. But this night was a sign that I need to, be smarter and to to make better decisions, to protect myself, and that these issues in our world and our society are very real, and you don't even know how real they are until it's you that's being chased, until it's you that's running for your life, until it's you that's, barely sleeping for the next couple of days because you're just so disgusted, so afraid. And my story isn't even the worst of them all. My story isn't even near it. I have girlfriends that have been groped. I have girls that tell me that they've been touched and been catcalled, and I thank God that what happened to me wasn't even that bad. But that night, I did call for help, and I don't really know what to call him, if he was my boyfriend or my friend, or but he came and he picked me up that night. And he took care of me, and we talked to the police, and it was just, it was one experience that started a lot. So that week was Easter weekend, and I went home for the weekend, and that following week, my special person that came to save me, he ended things. And I think this is what I want to make this episode about this like continual weakness, or when life throws things your way, like you have to face it. And so I'm going to tell you the story. So this guy, I don't know. I feel like our love story was definitely one, for my books at least. It all happened so naturally, which I feel like is hard these days. And I'm going to try my best to be the strongest I can to tell you guys the truth of how this all unraveled, because I feel like it's important to be candid, to be clear. And I know that you as my listeners would potentially relate. So I'm going to be real. This person was extremely special to me. Still is, obviously. And it was just really organic. I felt like we connected. It was fire. I was intellectually pushed, emotionally pushed. I just felt like I was in a good place, and I was with someone that really cared. And definitely wait for that person. Don't sell yourself short. Wait for someone that's going to want to know everything about you and want to treat you well and be your friend, but push you to be successful, to motivate you, to support you, and someone that maybe even looks up to you while you look up to them. And I think I had that with this person. It was really great, actually. So the first 2 months of college was just like, they were difficult. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was extremely lonely here. Moving away from home when you're constantly surrounded by friends and by family to a place in a city where it's not that I don't know nothing, but it was just alone. And I lived on a side of campus that, wasn't as socially popping, and I happened to meet this person that I found almost a home in. And we went on adventures. I felt like I could emotionally open up. I felt safe, comfortable. It was just like straight out of a movie. I'm not even kidding. Like, maybe I'm just the hopeless romantic. But just like stayed up talking for hours and hours. And I don't think any relationship is perfect either. We had our ups and downs, and I think I'm still trying to reflect to figure out, why God allows certain people to come into our lives and to make connections with us the way they do, and then, have things maybe not work out, or have things be a little turbulent and test us, really. So that week, things just didn't end. They just didn't continue. And I could talk about how much I like this person in our memories, but I think that's a little intimate. I'd rather like to talk to you guys about what it was like falling on your face and then trying to stand up again. So I just like was having already a rough week, and then this sort of unraveled. He wasn't in a good place and it just wasn't going to work out. And in that moment, I had to ask myself, are you going to beg to be loved, or are you going to accept and respect a person that you care about so much and allow them to do what is necessary for their happiness, even if it means the cost of your own? And it was a very trying moment where I like had to come to peace with just like a lack of an explanation almost. It's like, why, you feel so happy, you feel so connected. Love is a very trying thing for me. It's something that really hurts. And I'm going to get more into it, but that week I had to stay home. I was just really upset. And I stayed home and I just had to like work through some feelings and whatever. And it wasn't the end of the world. And I think that's what hurt some more. There wasn't a cheating scandal. There wasn't a breakup. We weren't even together for long enough to be out of a honeymoon phase. So just like trying to comprehend how you could be completely open with someone, vulnerable, how you could let someone so close to your heart and tell them about how you've been hurt and trust them, to have them, almost break your trust, or to feel like you're abandoned, or feel like, something that was so special was only one-sided, or a lot goes through your mind. And so I stayed home and I stayed with the people that love me, and I want to tell you a little bit about my journey and getting back up. So that following week, I came back to school, and it was, I'm not going to lie, it was hell. I felt like everywhere I looked, it was like a memory with him. And just like from places we walked, or just like, where he'd always pick me up, or just like little things. And I tried to keep it together, and I pushed myself to focus more on my academics. I would go to the gym every single day, even when I didn't want to get out of bed, or when I didn't want to eat, or when I just felt like really alone. I would go to the gym, work out, do my thing, and I would stop at church every day on the way back. There's a chapel on campus, and I would go in and I would sit and I'd just talk to God. And my advice to any of you that are faithful and going through a rough time, no matter what it may be, is to just go and talk to God. And I'm not even talking about praying the rosary or repeating the same thing over and over again. I would really just go in and just sit in front of him and be like, what is your plan for me here? I'm really weak right now. Can you give me the strength to keep pushing and to keep seeing beyond this point of, loss and challenge? Being alone and confronting, who am I? What do I stand for? Asking God for guidance, praying for the people that have hurt you, praying that they're doing okay, and that, your love for them through prayer will bring them to a better place. I found a lot of peace and comfort in that, because I feel like in my life, I try to control so much. I'm such a go-getter. I push myself to limits that maybe I shouldn't all the time. Or I have these high expectations for myself, and a lot of my success probably would not have come if I hadn't been this way. I try to stay away from things that I know will just veer me off of my path. And a lot of that comes with drugs and alcohol, but it's everywhere. And I just really needed to believe that God had it in his hands. And there were days where I'd go in and I'd just talk to him, or days where I'd go in and there'd be some guy playing the piano, and I would sit there and just like listen. And there were days I'd just go and I'd just be quiet. And I'd wonder like what he was doing. If the significant other was okay. If I was fulfilling the plan that was meant for me. I tried to bring it back out to, I have a duty, I have a purpose in this life. Focus on your mission. There's a reason you're here. Acknowledge how far you've come. Don't get lost in the vulnerability. Don't get lost in the emotions and the love. Don't get lost in the loneliness. Keep pushing, because there is a reason that you've made it this far. There is a reason that you've found certain success in what you love. You have a mission and a passion to fulfill. And that was what got me through. I'd come back, I'd read, I'd shower, I'd eat, I'd try to study. Sleeping was always the worst. Always the worst. It's the hardest when you leave your mind to think. To just think about life and to acknowledge people and experiences as a part of your story. So often I think we want to hold on to things that we're not supposed to, or at least not now. And it's so hard to just look back and be grateful that it even happened in the first place. Because you don't want things to end and you don't want things to go wrong in your life. But the glory days or the good old days or whatever you want to call them, they mean nothing if you don't give them glory. If you just constantly live in regret, or you constantly live in fear of them being gone, it's almost like they have no worth in existing in the first place. I'm like terrified of going through grief. I'm terrified of losing actual people, living dead. And I think this relationship really did a number on this part of me. And it's upsetting that it took that heartbreak to make me really focus on me. To really try to be alone and be, I know I've been using this word, but be at peace with just being alone. I hate it. I hate eating by myself. I hate going places by myself. I hate just not having people around me. And I knew this going into college, but now I'm just trying my best to face it, to be selfish, to want to love me first, to demand more for myself, even when I know I can give the world to others, to want it for me too. And that sort of leads me to my next topic. So when I came back to school, I talked to the girls that live with me, and one of them, Shika, told me about this test. It's an Enneagram test, and it's a personality test. There's 9 types of personalities, and there's this singer. He goes by the name of Sleeping at Last, and I love his music. I love his song Saturn. You guys should listen to it. Maybe I'll play it. And you take this test, and it tells you what personality type you are. And so I took it, and I'm a type 2, and it's basically the type of love that you give is so powerful and so strong to other people that you want to love unconditionally, and you make them the center of your world, but you're never the center of your own. You don't really love yourself, or you seek care and validation in others. I'm really giving it to you guys. So anyway, this guy, he wrote a song for each type. And the type 2 song, I'm going to play you guys a little bit of it. Everything is so beautiful. And in it, he basically talks about how he wrote it in a way that it's this type 2 person loving someone else. Or he wrote it so that this song was like you loving yourself, like a type 2 person saying like, this is how I wish someone would love me, or I could love myself. And it's very deep. And believe it or not, hearing this song really helped me understand why I feel the way that I feel when I get into relationships.
Sweetheart, you look a little tired. When did you rest eat? Come in and make yourself right at home. Stay as long as you need. Tell me is something wrong. If something's wrong, you can count on me. You know I'll take my heart clean apart if it helps yours beat. It's okay if you can't find the words. Let me take your coat and this weight off of your shoulders. Like a force to be reckoned with, a mighty ocean or a gentle kiss. I will love you with every single thing I have. Like a tidal wave will make a mess, or calm waters if that serves you best. I will love you without any strings attached. It's okay if you can't catch your breath. You can take the oxygen straight out of my own chest. I know exactly how the rule goes. Put my mask on first. No, I don't want to talk about myself. Tell me where it hurts. I just want to build you up till you're good as new. And maybe one day I'll get around to fixing myself too. I don't even know where to start. Already tired of trying to recall when it all fell apart. I just wanna love you, to love you, to love you well. I just wanna learn how to somehow be loved myself. Like a force to be reckoned with, a mighty ocean or a gentle kiss. I will love you without any strings attached. And what a privilege it is to love, a great honor to hold you. Like a force to be reckoned with, a mighty ocean or a gentle kiss. I will love you with every single thing I have. Like a tidal wave will make a mess, or cold waters if that serves you best. I will love you without any strings attached. I will love you without a single string attached.
I got through finals week. I had to write a 10-page research paper on Lebanon and the diaspora, and how we're everywhere but nowhere. And I finished on the dean's list. We're still waiting for some final things, but I don't know how I did it. I feel like I was so distracted. Obviously, I'm very focused on my academics, but this past semester, it flew by. And so many things happened, and I feel like I fell in love for the first time, and then went through this crazy heartbreak, but also learned so much about myself and my boundaries and what I want for me and the people that I want to be around me. I learned that there is sort of time restrictions on life, that we experience things not because they're supposed to be experienced forever, but because you're supposed to have them as a part of your story. It's almost like character development. And I could talk so much more about that kind of feeling. But to anyone that's going through something out there, or to future me, if I ever listen to this down the road, it's so important to feel what you need to feel. But it's so important to demand what you deserve. And to understand all you have to offer, including your flaws. And to seek respect. Because if you lose yourself, you have nothing. And I'm proud of myself for facing adversity. And it's not only through this breakup, but through school, through being alone, through COVID, through, being away from Lebanon and still, hearing about the pain that they're going through. And it's just a lot at once, right? I'm proud that I didn't turn to something that would have made me weaker. I didn't take an easy way out. I sat there with my feelings and I felt them. And I'm still doing it. And I chose the healthy route, even though it was so much harder. And I hope that in life, whenever trying things come my way again, I'll be stronger. I won't be weaker. And I'll be smarter. I feel like I need a break to find myself. And I think I needed a slap in the face to realize that I never take the time to explore who I am and how to guard my heart and how to find my passions and to just grow as an individual. I'm still young and there's still lessons to be learned. But I think life is such a beautifully miserable thing. We have these moments where, you want them to last forever. You have good times, bad times. Things that will change you, things that will flip your perspective. You grow with certain people. I don't think I've grown as much as I grew with this dude. You just push yourself to really question who you are and what you stand for. And those people don't come around often. And you just have to be grateful and thankful that it happened in the first place and that God has a plan for the future. And yeah, I finished my first semester. And finished finals. And then I went to Florida. I got on a flight and we went on vacation for a week. And it was beautiful. It was calming. God is so powerful. The world is gorgeous. There's peace in the little things. Stepping out onto the ocean at night, I felt like looking up into the stars and hearing the waves crash. I felt like I was literally being hugged. And it was I'm almost speechless. You start to appreciate the little things in life. And you wish that certain people were there with you to be along with the journey. But ultimately, all it is you and God. You and yourself. And you need to be strong enough and happy enough to be a part of that party. To be okay with just being alone and fighting your life on your own. And yeah, these days, since I've gotten back from Florida, there's been a massive conflict with Israel and Palestine. And I'm intending to do an episode about that and my views and my perspectives. And all we can really do is pray. That's one thing I want to leave you guys with in this episode, at least, is just pray, because there's so much out of our control. And you fight for what you believe in and you use your voice, but God is really the biggest power we can lean on. And today, I moved in to BU again. I'm now down the street, far moved, and I'm gonna be here for 6 weeks. This is the first day that I'm staying here of my summer semester. And I pray for the best. I hope it's gonna go well. It's gonna be great. I definitely overpacked for 6 weeks. And I have some crazy things coming up, like next summer session, I might be taking an international law course with the Chilean ambassador, which is insane. It's a senior level course and I'm a freshman. Oh. And then I might be having an opportunity to get an internship with an international lawyer. She's a badass. Based out of New York. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see. I have lots of plans. And I'm proud of myself. And I'm happy, like, I keep sharing these experiences with you guys because it's almost like I'm holding myself accountable. And how I'm expressing my own emotions and my own journeys. And I hope that you guys can learn from me as well. Especially if you're a little girl out there listening. Or a guy. Or someone older than me even. Firmly take in the idea that you are enough. And that you are worthy. And that certain things happen for a reason. That there's something better waiting down the line. And that it's okay to be weak as long as you're strong right after. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on the fact that you have so much to offer. And even when it gets the most difficult, be smart. Think about the younger version of you. I always stop to think, would younger me want me to be upset? Or would she want me to stand up and to keep moving? Would younger me sit and take a breath, or would she keep running? Would she keep hustling to get to her dreams, to get to her goals, to do something that is so much bigger than herself? That's who I am. There's no excuses in this life. It's so short. So live every moment to the fullest. Feel everything you need to, but don't stop. Keep chasing. Keep living every day. Keep breathing. And I'm sorry this episode was so deep. But to all of you that are listening, thank you for sticking around for this long. And I hope that God guides you and that you have faith in yourself. Until hopefully next week with some new stories about hopefully some new friends that I make here. I'll catch you guys later. Please keep Israel and Palestine, the Palestinian people, in your prayers. Pray for the Middle East and live a happy life.